Hi everybody, welcome to the Freed Family Farm. Today is April 22nd, 2025, and I thought we'd take you on a little garden tour today for our April garden tour and check it out and show you what we've got growing. Talk a little bit about what we've got planned too, and yeah, it's growing. It's crazy how quickly things can happen and how quickly things can get started and going here, and how quickly we can feel like we're behind. But yeah, we've made a lot of progress already this spring, and we are excited to show you what we've got going on. So come along, take a look, and enjoy the tour. Let us know what you think. All right, thank you very much. All right, let's get started here at the very first row. Here, first off, I'm gonna show you kind of an overview of the whole garden, the whole lot space that we have here. Again, this is almost a 1 acre lot. We purchased, I think it was 10 years ago now. And we have just expanded our garden every year we've done it. You can see we take up the whole front part, but we have plenty of room to grow still if we need to. But yeah, that's kind of a shot there of where we are. We're gonna start here at the beginning in the front corner. And this is our garlic. You can see here, it is getting a lot bigger. This first section here is a bigger garlic that I planted, and then as you go down further, about halfway, it's a smaller garlic variety. I'm excited. Really won't be too much longer before we start getting garlic scapes here, and then after that we'll get garlic growing and ready to harvest. So it's exciting. One thing with the garlic this year is that we had planned on planting it in the fall. Bulb plants like garlic kind of plant in the fall, but we didn't get to it in the fall. So I planted it this spring, and it appears as though it still is gonna work out for us. So here, let's see, we're still in the bigger section here, but as we go, I don't know exactly where the line is. You can see here, I think this is a radish here that made its way in from last year's seeds. But yeah, and then over here, we get to the smaller varieties. And I planted them kind of in little fives, as you can see. And most of them have sprouted. I find it interesting that I have kind of a gap here. And I don't know how or why that would have happened. That's one thing there we've got going. The next row up is onions, and you can see here I planted just a few from plant starts, and they are starting to form up here and get more solid leaves here as we go. That's good. That's good. These are red onions. And then look right here, got my first red onion sprouts here. Oh, and there's several. That is awesome. So, and I planted these like I did the garlic as well, in kind of sets of 5. And let's see here. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. That's good. Good. Kind of keep going. And the red onions I planted those a bit later, so it'll be a little bit before those are sprouting. We're gonna come here towards the yellow onions here. You can see a few more sprouts starting here, and then I had planted these ones earlier. You can see those sprouts are starting to come up, and that looks great. You can also see that I've got some weeds that are sprouting up in already, and I need to get in and just kind of take care of these early while they're young, so that we don't have issues. I wanted to get more of the onions sprouted a little bit more so I can tell them apart for sure. But yeah, I want to take care of them. Last year we didn't do as good of a job weeding our onions. We got to this point, and then I didn't take care of these little weeds, and they took over, and our onions struggled. But yeah, so about half or 3/4 of a row of yellow onion, and then 1/4 of the row is red onions. Next up here is our broccoli. Yeah, planted this last week, I think. And the plants didn't get as big as I wanted to in the pots before I planted them, but I think that they are ready. They're looking pretty good. Oh, got a marigold growing there. And then I also planted radishes in between each of the broccolis, but it hasn't been long enough yet since I planted those for them to sprout, I don't think. And this broccoli goes all the way to our middle section here. As you can see, and we can kind of walk a little bit there. So yeah, the broccoli goes all the way to the middle section. Kind of how I planned, let me say it now while I'm thinking of it, is this left section here. It's a section, so I go 50 feet, and then the next 50 feet is gonna be my squash section. And then the last 50 feet will be another section of other things, other fruiting and leafing things. But I went ahead and planted some of this broccoli and the cauliflower, which we'll do next, into the squash section here. Kind of figuring, here's my line of division, kind of figuring that in doing so, these broccoli and these cauliflower will be done before the pumpkins would need to get in or get too big and such. So that broccoli goes all the way up. And then here, the next one is the cauliflower. I had planted some of it earlier, and it got hit by frost. And it's okay, well, it survived, but this is the later stuff, and it's actually doing a bit better than the stuff I had planted earlier here. And, oh, we've got a snake friend. Hello, snake. We found a lot of garter snakes around our garden through the years. He's not too happy with us. We'll leave him be. We found a lot of snakes through the years. I think they're great for insect control and such. Our daughters, not as big of fans of them, unfortunately. All right, so here is the cauliflower that I had planted earlier. You can see I have the wires up. I covered it one time, but not one time when it frosted and got cold, and that was gonna be an issue. So here, cauliflower, you can see its leaves. It's got the green leaves coming back. Hopefully that doesn't impact our planting too much. Let me pull this weed here. These things here are very annoying. You can take over real quick. I also planted radishes in between, and the radishes are already bigger than the cauliflower. Hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues. They didn't sprout as well as I wanted them to either. So we'll see how that goes. Bye, snake. Yeah, so cauliflower here, not doing the best, but I think they'll survive, and that's why I planted more further out too. And radishes here as we go along. So that is how our cauliflower is looking. As we go. All right. Then on to the next row. We don't have anything planted yet. I should probably take the hoe out. And we have plans to weed, and then we will mulch with grass, and we'll do that on our unused rows. I think we're planting celery in this row, but it is not yet ready to come out. Next though is cabbage. I planted these late last week, and they are still plenty small, but these cabbages are gonna get quite bigger. And so I'm excited for that. They get really big, and actually this variety, Brunswick variety, is what these are, and they kind of get too big to sell, actually. Unfortunately, some people don't like them as much. But as we go, you can kind of see that there. I don't need to walk down the whole row, except that I wanted to show you what's kind of at the end here. Oh, let's see. Right here, looks like we lost a cauliflower, or a cabbage in here. Shoot. Okay, good to know. Here, then I need to thin these out, but these are all volunteer sunflowers here. In this section here is where we had our sunflowers last year, and they produced tons of seeds, And that's, for me, it's one of those things where it's hard to the birds are having a blast in the bush there. I don't know why you can see them. But it's hard to see, hard for me to get rid of plants when they're doing so well. So I will, my dad had said he might want to transplant some. I'll try to move some if I get a chance. Otherwise, we have plenty of seeds too. But yeah. And then coming up here is, I don't think we have anything in this row yet. Or is it? Yeah, I don't think so. And then the next row is potatoes. I planted a couple varieties of potatoes in this row and this row. I don't think any have really started coming up yet. This is one where I had just kind of buried this, or left part of the stem up. And you can see that it's turning green and maybe we'll produce some leaves. But otherwise, we haven't yet gotten any potatoes. Go, start sprouting. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think that's kind of the same. When I planted these, they planted the whole potato and they were all spindly and whatever from last year. So we'll see what happens with that section. This over here I did with seed potatoes from the store, and they aren't sprouting yet, so we'll see. Here is our red cabbage. Got a row of that. It's actually looking pretty good. Small, smaller than I would like to put it out at, but we figured it's gonna grow bigger out here than staying in pots for longer. So that's our red cabbage here. Then our next row is our kale. Again, smaller than we want, but it will grow. We are planning on planting today, hopefully, planting some green onions in between the kale because they'll grow quickly and such. And that's what we did. I mean, that's what we did, like we did with our radishes. So we'll see how that goes. Up next here is our spinach. And in this little section here, I think the neighbor cats like this as a litter box. So it's been dug up and probably not the most ideal spot. So this little section here is not doing as well. And these spinaches, I've struggled with spinach getting it to grow. I think it's too late when I get it out, but it doesn't get big enough in my pots, so I don't know. These are little guys. We're gonna see what happens with them. They're in the space here. We'll see how that goes. Back corner here, one of my pride and joy of the garden for me is the strawberries, and I am excited for them this year. Last year was our first year with them. The year before we had planted these 2 rows in August, and so we got a few strawberries last year. We're hoping for a really big harvest. This row we planted in the fall, and that's looking good too. We'll see what we get. So yeah, but look at all these flowers that are growing on here. Look at this, look at this. Isn't that just beautiful? So we are super excited for these strawberries to grow. They are a June bearing variety, and so we'll get them once, kind of have a big push with them, and hoping to have enough to put in our CSA this year and enough for our family. Not planning on, I don't think, selling at markets or anything this year, just because I don't think we'll have enough. But we'll see, and I like the idea of expanding them every year. You can see the weed fabric that we've done. My dad was a huge help this year with our weed fabric, and we got some new out here to expand our strawberry row. Basically, the idea is just to match the width of the rows that we've been doing. So that's kind of our goal here, to have that match. And you can see we tilled all this up. We got weed fabric up. We have a lot of rows here that still are not planted yet. This area we're in now, like I said before, is gonna be squash. We don't know exactly which ones we're gonna plant where, but we love pumpkins. So we're excited for that. Here is this row here. Now we're in the back of the right side here. Kind of a quick overview of where we are. Back right side here, or I guess the west side. But this row here, I'm planning on moving my raspberries into this row. The raspberries currently are clear in the back corner of the lot that we have, and I find it's harder to get back there. I don't know why. Also, yeah, so we've had some issues with that, just being able to get back there and maintain it. So I'm hoping that having them in the garden will help with that as we go along. Let's see here. And then I don't have much else planted here yet. You can see these are more rocks and stuff that we pull up from our tilling. There used to be a house right here way back in the day, and it is interesting the things that we have found while doing that. Other rocks I used to hold down the weed fabric. We have it pinned in, but those kind of help us ensure that it stays down on really windy days. So then as we go along, let's see, not remembering exactly where everything will go here, but we will have, we'll have cucumbers, zucchini around here. I don't remember exactly which row. Cucumber, zucchini, eggplant I think we're hoping to do in this section. Beans, lots of green beans. We really like those. And let's see here as we come down, we're gonna come towards, these are bean rows here I think. We're gonna come towards the lettuce. This is our lettuce row. I really was hoping that it would grow faster than it has. Our CSA is getting antsy to start getting some stuff. Well, we're getting antsy to put some in. But it is a good looking row of lettuce. And I did come yesterday and I harvested enough for a salad for our family. And so that was really nice. I just cut off the less desirable leaves from almost each of the plants here. And so it wasn't the best of the best, but it was plenty good. Better than the salad we've been getting from the store lately, and it's exciting to be able to have our own harvest. I'm hoping that some of this will be next week, be able to get enough to share with our CSA. Obviously, I don't know exactly ideally when for sure. All right, then the last two rows that we're gonna talk about, which are the front two rows of the west side, are our peas. These are sugar snap peas. We did two varieties. We did a hybrid that we had gotten from Johnny's, and then we also saved some from last year from our heirloom. And I don't know what it is with us with peas. We'll kind of get a few here and there, and look, I need to do more weeding here, of course. But then we get these gaps where nothing sprouts for 5 or 6 feet. And then we have another 2 or 3. And even like around here in this row, I think I'm gonna have to thin those. And it's really annoying to have to thin in some spots and then not have enough in other spots. Oh, maybe I can try moving some of them, but I don't know how well that'll work or won't work. But yeah, so as we go, we are excited with how many have sprouted though, hoping that we can get more to sprout. And we have some old fence that the neighbors had given us years ago. That some of it will grow on, and the others we're going to, as it grows up, tie some twine or some string of some sort to help those grow as well. So yeah, so looking at our peas, and yeah, so you see, like here, I have one there, and then I have a gap. Let's see, are you one? Oh nope, that's just a lettuce leaf from yesterday. So then this whole section here doesn't have any until right there, the next one. So I don't know. That's kind of where we are at with those peas. And you can see we've made it back to the front corner here. Just another view of our garden. From here, I'll take you back up. We'll go look at the raspberries, which are back in that corner back there. And then we'll also look at the fruit trees, which are back in the other corner back there. Okay, I'm up at the raspberries now. You can see way down there is the garden. And up and around this way, and we are clear back in the back corner. And then just back in the back corner, it's been harder to weed and get back here. So my plan is to dig up some of these guys. Like this one here will be a good one. That one there. And there's a few more in here. You can see that even like, that's a mulberry tree that I didn't weed out. But I see, there's, probably a few good ones here that I will take and I will plant in. Okay, good. More down there. There's more than I thought, so I'll plant down closer to the garden here. And I can trim these up and get them in. I don't know what it means for a harvest this year or not, but it will increase what we have next year. I'm guessing I won't get them all, and there'll be some still that grow here too. But raspberries, moving them closer, you can see that they have already started growing. These are the red raspberries. There will be some black raspberries that I'll show you here after a little bit. But first, let's take a look at our fruit trees. First of all, this is our peach tree, and we had 2 years ago, we had a big bumper crop that broke some of the branches, a lot of the branches, and since then, obviously I haven't done much trimming either. I need to do that too. But since then, we haven't had any blooms, so I don't see any reason to suspect we'll get peaches this year, unfortunately. I was hopeful that this year would be a year it'd bounce back, but yeah, all our trees we need to do more trimming on, and we just don't, or haven't yet. We'll keep working on that. Here is our pear tree, and lots of flowers this year. That's good. You can see right there, there's some pear-shaped flowers there. This is good. This is good. Hopefully, we can get some pears this year. That will be nice. Nice. There's some more right here. Oh, that one looks, I don't know, probably too early to tell if they're gonna be pollinated or not. But we have gotten a few pears last year, but not a ton. And hoping to get more and more this year as we go. Pears, my mom always had a pear tree as a kid, or when I was a kid, and so it's just part of one of the things we really love. And the pear tree at our house appears like it actually has died all the way. So it got damaged in a storm a few years back, and that was the one that my mom had. This is honey gold tree apples. Tons and tons of blooms this year. That is great. I think that hopefully that means that we will have tons and tons of apples here. It's a little bit past when they were at their prettiest, but still, I'm excited. Looking forward to getting hopefully some more apples from this tree this year. And this one here is our honey crisp tree. Clearly needs some trimming up, but you can see it's got a few blooms this year. Last year it formed some apples, but those apples didn't really amount to anything. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully I can still trim it up some. I know that it's probably later than you should, but in my experience, doing it when you can is better than not doing it at all. So we'll get back to you on that hopefully later. All right, now we have kind of come around the edge of the lot heading back towards the garden. But as we get closer to the garden, we're gonna take a stop at our black raspberries. And this is exciting because these grew on their own. So they are wild black raspberries in that we didn't plant them, but they grew here in this spot, and it kind of worked out in this spot where I could just kind of stop mowing it, and the raspberries grew. So yeah, they are coming up strong. I obviously should do more work on controlling and weeding and such. We'll get there. We'll get there. Thought I had seen, oh, here we go. There are some flowers starting on those. Yeah, how about that, huh? So that is exciting, exciting stuff. As we move along, we've got more things growing and lots of green showing up. That is great. Thank you for joining us on our April garden tour at the Freed Family Farm. So excited to see all the stuff growing and that's coming, and hopefully it'll keep coming, and obviously we'll keep working. We've got more planting to do. We'll show you more updates as we go, but also we'll try to do another garden tour like this in May, and you can kind of see a grand picture of everything we've got going on. So if you have any questions or anything, let us know. You can leave a comment or whatever and we can touch base. But yeah, it's just trying to keep going here and keep moving forward with our garden. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.